Liverpool battling it out for the League Cup. Rob Scanlon, as you can see, is there for us now. Rob, both sides won midweek, the perfect preparation, and it's a great final, isn't it? No, it's two giant clubs going head to head.
It is, absolutely. You'd have to say it's probably the second and third choice favourites for the competition have got to the final. Obviously, Manchester City getting knocked out, I think, gave everyone else a lift, because obviously City have been so dominant in the last few years in this competition, winning 5 out of the last 6. Chelsea haven't won it since 2015. You have to go back 10 years to the last time Liverpool won it. And I think, like you say, in terms of preparation, it's been more or less ideal. I think Jurgen Klopp and Thomas Tuchel wouldn't have minded a clear week to work on a few bits of minutiae, but actually this was the next best thing, with Chelsea fairly comfortably winning in the first leg against Lille at Stamford Bridge. Yet another clean sheet. The issue for them, I guess, a couple of things. Of course, the Romelu Lukaku situation, an unused sub in that game, and also Hakim Ziyech, who's been absolutely superb recently, going off with a knock. So he's a worry ahead of Sunday's final, definitely. But Kai Havertz, who's got this wonderful record in cups for Chelsea, played very well in the false 9 position, and you'd expect him to start at the weekend. As with Liverpool, well, they absolutely brushed aside Leeds at Anfield. I don't think they're going to be given quite as much leeway here on Sunday. Virgil van Dijk's not going to be able to coast into the box from a corner, smashing a header like he was. Joel Matip going marching up the field, playing a 1-2 and then scoring. It really was an extraordinary game of football, that. But Liverpool come into this game with more players available, more confidence, more form. But as Peter quite rightly said, Chelsea are cup specialists. Thomas Tuchel is a cup final specialist, and that's why it's quite difficult to call this one.
Absolutely, Rob. Liverpool haven't lifted it for 10 years, haven't lifted this trophy for 10 years. But if they do lift it on Sunday, they will be the team that have won the most League Cups. They're currently tied with Manchester City. So that's an extra incentive for Liverpool as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I was listening to a few podcasts on the drive over here, actually, with Liverpool fans, and they were saying that does actually mean quite a bit to them. They're level with Manchester City, 8 trophies apiece, of course, 48 domestic trophies for Liverpool in their incredible history. They've got that sort of wall of champions, haven't they, at Anfield, so they'll be looking to add the 2022 League Cup final to that, and it does mean a lot. Manchester City, obviously, with those 5 wins in the last 6 years, have got level pegging with them, 8 apiece. Chelsea on 5, along with Aston Villa, who won the first ever League Cup trophy. But it is something that Jurgen Klopp's been asked about quite a lot down the years. He's of course won the Premier League for the first ever time. He's won the Champions League. He's reached many domestic finals, but not quite got over the line. And for the players, this one would really mean a lot. And of course, it would spur them on towards this title race that we're all anticipating. So Andrew Robertson here talking about the importance of this competition to the players.
We've not done as well in domestic competitions than we would like to over the last couple of years. And, you know, we've obviously got a good chance to put that right. You know, we've came over every hurdle so far, and we realise how good, you know, a cup run is. And, you know, that game against Arsenal and beating them away, and, you know, our fans behind the goal, it was incredible, and we want to create, you know, happy memories at Wembley as well.
Rob, I wonder who starts up top in that front 3 for Liverpool, because Jota and Firmino, most likely both of them out. Minamino's had a good crack in the competition so far. What do you think it'll look like, Klopp's front 3?
Well, I know that Diogo Jota will be desperate to play. Of course, he had a major influence on them getting to this stage of the competition. He scored against Arsenal. I interviewed him a few weeks ago, actually, when they were talking about going, obviously, for the 4 remaining competitions that they're in. He joined from Wolves, desperate to win trophies, and he's been absolutely superb. So although he's carrying an injury, there is talk that he could train today and possibly tomorrow, and they'll assess him ahead of this weekend. And he'll be absolutely desperate to play. But with Liverpool, in this season's competition, they've used 29 players, including 3 goalkeepers. Klopp has confirmed that Kelleher will be in goal rather than Alisson, but apart from that, well, it is difficult to call. Like you say, Minamino scored 4 goals in this competition, and it would mean a lot to him to play as well. I think the best managers, generally, when they've been resting and rotating players, will say, right, you're rested for this game, but this is the match I want you to play in, and prepare them for the final and things like that. I think we'll see that with Chelsea. I think we'll see that with Liverpool in their selection. So, yeah, you can't imagine that, considering the form that Mo Salah's in, Sadio Mane, they won't play. but Diogo Jota will be desperate to make some sort of impact. Of course, you can make 5 subs in this competition, so whether it's starting or coming off the bench and being a finisher, if you like, and having that energy to try and tie with tired legs in the Chelsea defence, maybe Jota will have an impact off the bench.
Absolutely, and Rob, this is a chance for Chelsea and Thomas Tuchel to win another trophy and their second in just a month.
Yeah, you sound very pleased about that, don't you? Has any other team managed to win 3 trophies by the end of February? I mean, it's been an incredible run by Chelsea. They are a machine in finals, aren't they? And Kai Havertz, who I mentioned earlier, has got this great scoring record, so you'd expect him to start. The big question, of course, is about Romelu Lukaku. The 7 touches against Crystal Palace have been talked about and debated all week. Even after that victory in midweek over Lille, Thomas Tuchel was quizzed heavily on it because, of course, he didn't even get off the bench, Romelu Lukaku. So for Chelsea, there are still 1 or 2 issues to iron out. Does he start with Edouard Mendy, who, of course, is his #1 keeper, or does Kepa Arrizabalaga, who was rested, if you like, or rotated for the Club World Cup victory against Palmeiras, having played so well in that competition, do you start him? Do you be as ruthless as that? Or, as I said to you earlier, does he manage him in the way that he says, right, I'm going to rest you for that game, but we know we've got this final coming up, so you will play in that game at Wembley? And also Mason Mount, you've got to factor him in. He's got a great record at Wembley for England. He wasn't used in midweek, so he'll be fairly fresh. So they have got 1 or 2 players coming back, but I still think Liverpool have got the sort of more vibrancy, the fully fit squad, less injury issues, less political issues, if you like, than Chelsea. But as Peter Drury said earlier, do not count Chelsea out. This is what they do.
And he's very rarely wrong, Mr. Drury, isn't he? Rob, top man, London's looking beautiful. It's all set, isn't it, for Sunday's League Cup final at Wembley. We've been asking you who the hero's going to be. Hashtag PL fans in that League Cup final between Liverpool and Chelsea. Bongani says Salah and Mane to win the Carabao Cup for Liverpool on Sunday. And Sean says hero for the League Cup final will be Mo Salah. Would be great for him to score the winning goal in a cup competition after the AFCON defeat. Chelsea fans, where are you? Get in touch. Hashtag PL fans.
I feel like a lot of people will be saying Mo Salah.
Yeah.
And rightly so, I suppose. Right, that's it for part 1. But coming up after the break, we'll really...
Kante plays like he did the other night. Wow, Liverpool.
Big occasion. He is a man for the big occasion.
He's a player,
isn't
by
he?
the way.
Yeah. What about Burnley, going back to the Premier League? Because, I mean, back-to-back wins for Burnley is astonishing. Those 6 points has put them right in the mix.
They do this every single season.
Yeah.
We all write them off.
You know what? We were all crazy. And you know what?
I'm claiming to be the oracle on this one because I refuse to write short.
No, do you know what I did?
Why would you, when you look back over the years?
So I'll tell you something, Will. 3-4 months ago, I said no chance. They'll get out of it because Sean Dyche. And then gradually, as people started winning and they started dropping, I thought, nah, they've got no chance. But you know what? He does the business. They go to Brighton, get a fantastic result. And Spurs are so typical Tottenham, go and beat Man City and then go and lose to Burnley, and that's the consistency. But
Weghorst has given them something, isn't he?
Yeah, good player.
An upgrade on Chris Wood, perhaps. He still hasn't scored
for me.
Newcastle,
he's better than Chris Wood.
Yeah.
His all-round game's brilliant. He's not just good in the air. Technically, he's really good, and he's been scoring goals, and he's the key for them to stay in.
No one would have believed, if you'd said 6 weeks ago Burnley would stay up, they wouldn't believe you. And that's what's so brilliant now. We've got an amazing sort of title race, obviously coming down.
And
We've
then
got top 4 race,
but you know what?
Top 10 race. And
Will Shout's not bad, Liv, and wasn't agree. The Brentford is a massive game against Newcastle tomorrow.
I mean, yeah, I said at the start of the season, or midway through the season, that I didn't think Brentford would go down. But these next 3 games, like Mike Bridgie was saying, are so important. And if they